time of crisis or emergency or even exigency in the late 18th century sense, then you really rise to the occasion, which is where the framers are most inspirational. If, on the other hand, you think we should be trapped within what I really do describe as the iron cage of the conventional notion of Article 5, then you've got to believe that all of the talk about emergency, crisis, even exigency is just so much political rhetoric, that things are really, good enough. We've muddled through in the past, we'll muddle through in the future, and lighten up.
Okay, so we're going to go to questions, and we have mics here. People can come to the mics and ask your questions. I ask you to identify yourself before you ask your question. I ask you to recognize there are lots of people who want to ask questions. There's not a lot of time, so please keep the speeches to a minimum and questions as powerfully as you can. So from my left, Cenk.
Hi, I'm Cenk Uygur. I'm host of the Young Turks. I'm going to be hosting the political panel where I will probably fundamentally disagree with Professor Tribe on how broken our political system is. So I hope you stick around for that. But I thought you asked the most important legal questions, but I would love to try to begin to get answers, because I think this is, in that sense, the most important panel. So how do we get those answers? Who gets us those answers? For example, how do we choose delegates? Is it a limited or unlimited convention? Et cetera. Who decides that? How do we decide that? Can we begin to answer that?
So let me just begin on that, and anybody else can chime in. Congress presumed, in the last time we came close to this, to have the authority to answer those questions. Senator Hatch had Senate Bill number 40, which extensively addressed all of the procedural, structural questions that the convention would call for. My favorite part of Senate Bill 40 is that it forbid members of Congress from being delegates in the convention. But the presumption, at least going forward, was that that's within the scope of the necessary and proper authority. Is there...
I don't think it is. I think the whole point of the Article 5 convention is to go around Congress, and that Congress's role in the call is very limited.
And let me just second that. You can look at Federalist 43, and it says that the states and Congress have the power individually to originate the amendment of errors. So there's no question that Article 5's state-initiated process is supposed to be the end run around Congress, and it would make no sense to interpret the power of Congress relative to the state-initiated process as able to dictate the substance.
Well, I think that the two answers you've just heard would lead to utter paralysis for those people